guys. Happy Tuesday. I know I've stated it in the preseason, the beginning of the season also. I'm not good at trashing people. I am good with my immediate responses, and that's why I need to make videos right after it happens, because I'm going to give you truly how I feel, and that's what I do right after the games and stuff. But as the days go on, I start to listen to guys. I got a heart, and I think right off the bat, I've got to say this. Deep down, and I've said this, I know, probably 30 times, I do really like Joe Douglas. So you know what? Let's just start with Joe Douglas. I really do like the person. I like the job in certain aspects. This Jets drive really opened our eyes to some of the behind the scenes things that happen. And you saw in that one room when they start talking about certain players, and a big part of that was Elijah Moore, how much influence these guys have. And there had to be in that room, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, a dozen guys really breaking down. Now, there were 3 or 4 really important people, but they're really giving their opinion on Elijah Moore. And the Jets had the reason I'm stating this is that we're going to talk about the 2020 draft, okay, which was a disaster. And that was Joe's first draft, okay, which I've torn apart, okay? Many people have torn apart. A lot of people have torn apart. But there's a lot of factors in this, There's a lot of factors that we have to take into consideration. And that when Joe is building this thing, he's going to have to filter through certain things, whether it be his first round pick or his 7th round pick, whether it be however his scouts are doing things. He has a lot of confidence in people. And the one thing you can tell about Joe Douglas is when you get to his heartstrings and he lets you in, he's a very trustworthy person. He really trusts. Once he lets the person in, he really trusts these people. He really trusts Saleh, He really trusts the Johnsons. Rightfully so. The Johnsons have handed the keys to the car to him. And if that's the case, he probably really trusts his scouts and the recommendations they're making. And I'm not disagreeing with all the recommendations. I'm just trying to lay the foundation here. That this process, Gilson, I think what's really getting to everybody is that it was the Patriots, number 1. It was Belichick really laying it on, number 2. And you want to know something as far as Belichick? I'm not going to sit here and say that son of a bitch. You know what? Belichick, the bottom line is if you still have that kind of grudge, you must be one of the most insecure individuals God ever created. I mean, he has to be. This man can't be happy in his life or his own skin. So I don't worry about people like Bill Belichick. For all the rings and all the Super Bowls and everything else, here's what I know about Bill Belichick, okay? So if he wants to blow out the Jets in such a way, and that's what gets him off, okay, instead of a woman, that's fine. That's fine with me. But the bottom line is about Bill Belichick is whether he likes it or not, is Bill Belichick has never won anything without Tom Brady. He's never been over 500 without Tom Brady. So the one year he was when Brady went down. But he's never done anything. He's never won anything without Tom Brady. So, and I look at that Patriot team that played. That team is so far away from the Super Bowl. It's unbelievable how far away that team is. There's no way that team is going to win anything. So if he gets his rocks off on beating the Jets, it really bothered me after the game, and I started thinking about everything about him is skeevy. He's a slimy guy. What are you going to do? He's out of my life. We're done with him this year. But getting back to Joe, Joe is a good person, and it's just a matter of him finding his way through this, and where he's going to end up at. You know, I think the Johnsons have so much trust in Joe, and they have seen certain past teams that have taken 2, 3, 5, 7, 8 years to rebuild. That, Joe would be around if not Gase, God forbid. If Saleh were to leave, Joe would still be here. If Joe needs to draft a number 1 quarterback again in 2 years, Joe will be here. I really think Joe will be here. I don't think the Johnsons are going to listen to the fan base whatsoever on this. Because the bottom line is that the guy has done some real positive things too. You know? He's mellowed out and quieted out an internal situation there that was out of control. And I really think this year's draft, when it's all said and done, will end up looking a lot better. You know? I mean, right now, there's no way that Tucker is a bust. No way. No. I saw him be all-world at guard, and then the next year I saw him be all-world at tackle. There's no way that Tucker is going to be a bust. There's no way Elijah Moore is going to be a bust. There's no way. Zach Wilson? I can't say that right now. How can you say that? I don't think so. I think Zach's going to be a really good quarterback. But I can't say that right now. My point is this year's draft is going to end up being minus a couple things that they're trying to. I don't understand the Sherwood thing right now. This kid looks like, seriously, he looks like a boy among men trying to play middle linebacker. Dear Lord, that was unbelievable. But anyway, we'll go through some of the plays and you'll see what I'm talking about. But as far as Joe's concerned, that's how I feel about Joe. I really do. And as far as Sal is concerned, I can only go by my gut, you know. I didn't have this gut feeling with Gase. You know. I quickly didn't have this gut feeling with Bowles. I really, really didn't. If you're going to ask me right now what annoys me the most about Saleh, I'm going to really be nitpicky here, is that this bluster of all gas, no brake that he talks about, and we've seen him on the sidelines, but it's sort of, there's sort of a line for Saleh. It's like a line that turns into too much respect the other way. You know, I don't want to hear him talking about how great Josh McDaniels is and how Josh McDaniels is going to have a play that's just going to, he's going to definitely do something this Sunday. He said this before Sunday, before all these trick plays. That you'll never have seen before. And I don't want to hear it. I didn't want Rex Ryan coming out saying we're not going to kiss people's rings. I thought that was a little over the top. But it worked. I don't want to hear compliments anymore about Belichick and opposing teams, coaches, and players. I don't want to hear it anymore. I want to say a nice little thing, fine, and move on. But I didn't know I was getting a complete cheerleader here. I thought Saleh was also a kick-ass guy when asses needed to be kicked. And his way may end up being the right way. But again, getting back to gut, I really do believe he's the right guy. I really do believe it. I think he's got a major problem on his hand. Unless this offense comes around, boy, oh boy, he's got a real major problem on his hand. I heard somebody say last night, oh gosh, it was a mainstream media guy say yesterday. I think it was Don LaGreca on Michael Kay's show. I think he said, yeah, no matter what happens, Lafleur is going to be back next year. He's going to have 2 years to do this. And I'm thinking to myself, no way. If this continues like this all year long, I don't see how you can do that. I just don't see how you can do that and to this kid. I don't agree with that. But he'd have a tough decision to make, you know? And then again, I'm really hoping that the kid, Lafleur, what he said yesterday, and we're gonna play that today. What he said yesterday is true. You know, look at the first year they had with the Niners, and I went and I looked because I don't believe anybody anymore. And he was right. 2017, their offense sucked. The first 8 out of the first 9 games, it was horrible. And then all of a sudden, the last 3 or 4 games of the season, they lost. I think they lost 8 of their first 9 games. And all of a sudden, around week 11 or 12, you know, they're in the 30s every week. And then the next year, I looked at 2018, and man, oh man, they were scoring points. So I don't know. That's what he said. So, and he didn't lie. It was accurate. Wasn't him, but he was on that staff. So, it was the same kind of offense pretty much. So, we'll see. Anyway, let's get right into it, guys. Let's go back and let's just take a quick look. Again, this is not an attack on Joe. This is an attack on Joe and his scouting department on what happened in 2020. So let's take a quick look. And here we take a look at the draft picks for 2020. Mekhi Becton first. Okay, great pick. We're having a little problem with the health, though, lately. We talked about in the preseason, we were not happy about the fact when we saw Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton came into camp at least 385, 390. Is that the reason he got injured? I don't know. I'm not pointing at that. My point is how do you let a guy like that come into camp at 385, 390? What are you trying to do? Reinvent the wheel? To have the hugest lineman of all time? The Brickshaw Ferguson showed you do not have to be that big. He could be 350, and that's fine. He'll still be gigantic. Denzel Mims, we don't know yet. I want to see Denzel Mims out there. I don't even want to see Crowder anymore. I want to see Mims. I want to see Elijah Moore. I want to see the kids. Ashton Davis, we don't really know, but he led the team in tackles this past week. Is he a pass defender? We don't know. Zuniga, I don't know what island he's on. No clue. LaMichael Pirine, I don't know. The people that defend him, I don't know what you're defending. It's like you're talking about this player that you think is so good. We haven't seen anything from him yet. Last year, this year, nothing to show that he's a good NFL back. So what you're defending, I have no clue. James Morgan, horrible pick. Cameron Clark on the same island as Zuniga. Bryce Hall, tremendous pick. Brandon Mann, solid pick. Okay, guys, and now we'll get to the press conference with Michael Lafleur. I'm going to try to go through this as fast as possible. I'm not going to drag this one out, okay?
Mike, on the play where Zach Wilson got hurt,
recording in progress.
Ryan Griffin was blocking Matthew Judon. Was that supposed to be a one-on-one block, or was that supposed to be like a double team? Because it doesn't seem like a great idea to leave Ryan Griffin one-on-one with a pass rusher that has six and a half sacks in 6 games.
Yeah, no, that was a one-on-one block. We had Jameson coming across just kind of as presence, with the slide and the deception. There's no doubt. I mean, you always get you never want to put your tight ends in situations where they have to block a guy like Judon. It was a run situation. It was 1st and 10 off a turbo. They're not hard rushers on 1st and 2nd down. A lot of times they even drop. So you kind of play those odds a little bit too to try to push the ball down the field.
The rest of his answer there wasn't important. Did you hear what he said? Again, I don't want to I'm not going to tear the guy down. We're just going facts here. Did you hear what he said at the very end there? He goes, usually on 1st and 2nd down, they're not, we thought the odds are you take a gamble. If that's the way if you think that the Patriots are sitting there preparing their offense against the Jets, say, we think the Jets usually blitz here, so we're going to run play. No, they're going after an exact weakness. You're going after an exact weakness. You're not doing things because you think the Patriots do this on 2nd down, or you think the Patriots don't do that on 1st down. No, that flag number 1, 15 yards. Wow.
Mike, we talked so much about the start of the game and what you guys are doing the bye week. How did you feel overall about how you guys started the game yesterday?
Not good. I mean, the first 3 and outs, never good, particularly when they went all the way down the field and they scored and you want to bounce back. And, again, it's well documented. And, we talk about it too. We're not going to hide behind anything. We've talked about it as offense where, but you can't press to try to do anything. You just got to go out and do your job. And we didn't get that done. We didn't get that done as coaches. Again, I go back to, I said it a few weeks ago to you guys, and I truly, truly mean it. When we're not executing, that is on coaching. And we had on the second play, we had a run ID miscommunication, and there was a free runner that shouldn't have been. And then obviously on the third down where Zach took the sack, there was a free runner that shouldn't have been. He was not hot there. And again, I put that on coaching how to figure out to make it easier for our guys.
So basically what he's saying there is one of the run plays and that blitz play, which we're going to show, those guys weren't hot. Meaning what he basically just admitted there is that it wasn't Moses' fault for not switching over. It wasn't McGovern's fault at center and Van Roten's fault. They executed the way the coaches want them to execute. They did not have that guy covered for, the coaching staff. Moses has been in the league a long time. He's not an idiot. Okay? The play was to double team. They did not have anybody covered for that guy coming off. Totally free from the left side. That is total coaching. That had nothing to do with the offensive line. When we watch this play, it's going to look so ridiculously stupid. You know what? I'm not going to go through it now.
Second drive. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Hey,
We're done.
Hey, Mike. First of all, why are you doing this today?
I was told to do this today.
Mike,
Okay.
the first 2 plays that you started with, you go run for very little gain, then second down, run for very little gain to set up the pass, which obviously didn't work, and the punt on the first series. What was the thought process before you guys had kind of the 2 weeks to prepare and then just go run?
Yeah, just honestly to kind of ease our quarterback into a game. Hand the ball off a few times.
That question was asked by Connor Hughes. Connor Hughes works for The Athletic. You guys have heard me talk about Connor Hughes several times. Connor Hughes is, I think, fantastic. I really think he's fantastic. When you watch his podcasts and stuff, he's a talker, man. He'll go off on a subject matter and he will run. He has got the gift of gab. But did you hear what he did? Asked him, why are you doing this today? He usually does it on Tuesdays. Why are you doing this today? And you saw Lafleur was like, because I was told to. And he starts with that nervous laugh. My guess is Lafleur said to him, he goes, no, you're doing it today. We're not taking time out tomorrow to do any of this nonsense. You're doing it today. Get it over with. Go face the music. That's what I'm guessing. I mean, it's crazy. That's what it sounded like to me. And then more troubling, I am picking. I know I'm picking. I'm trying not to pick so effing bad here. Connor asked him, 2 weeks to prepare, run, pass, and I would have taken any answer. I really would have taken any answer. Well, you know what? If I passed the first few times, you guys would be like, well, what about the running game, And if he would have come up, any kind of answer I would have accepted. I really would have. What I can't accept is that you're trying to ease your quarterback into a game. That's like saying, I'm going to drop you over a ledge, but I'm going to hold your hands, okay? Really super tight for the first minute, The kid's got so much anxiety. Whether you run the first play, the second play, you could have ran the first 5 plays. That is not going to calm the kid down. The kid's not going to calm down until he drops back to pass the first time, and whatever happens, happens. It's just to me, and he says truthfully, to be truthful, to be honest. That was not. That's not. If that's your honest answer, That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's such a bad answer if that's an honest answer, because you cannot really believe that's calming your quarterback down. If that's it, run it the whole friggin' first half. You're gonna lose the game anyway. You have a real nice calm quarterback at halftime.
Like if there are mistakes that early in the game, like for instance the sack on third down with the free runner on that play, and you said that was a coaching thing. Is there to have something have a basic breakdown that early in the game? Is there something? There must be a disconnect somewhere where your messaging is not getting through. I mean, have you looked internally about that on that?
I always look internally. I've stated that numerous times to you guys. I'm always looking internally, and I'm.
That guy asked the perfect question. But like a lot of people in life, including myself, sometimes we ask the perfect question in life, and sometimes we get the perfect point across in life. But you know what we do? We keep on effing talking. And eventually, a good point becomes a stupid point or a non-important point. We just keep talking. The guy kept asking the question. And what does he do at the very end of the question? He says, he's saying, you're making these execution errors early in the game. And then at the very end, he gives them an out. And he says, do you look inside? Do you internal? It's so ridiculous that he added that last few words in there because it gave him an out. So, and that's why I cut it off. He went on about a minute and a half how he looks internally into himself, after games, and it's all about looking at himself. No. The question in the beginning was a great question. How do you explain having execution errors 2 weeks to prepare for a team early in a game? And then this guy goes ahead and adds in the damn. I wanted to hear that answer so badly, and I heard him say internalize. I'm like, oh, here we go. And there it was, man.
Hey, Mike, when you got a question last week about Elijah, kind of comparing him to Debo, and you mentioned his size. And I was curious, I think it was the second drive yesterday. It was like a screen pass to Jamison, I believe. I haven't been able to watch the film yet. And it looked like Elijah was the main blocker on the screen. Am I right on that? And
yeah.
Kind of what's the theory behind that? Because I thought your answer last week made sense about his size and not being able to use him kind of on jet sweeps and stuff. But how is it good to have him as like a lead blocker on a screen?
Yeah, certainly you want bigger guys on those. We had just gotten a first down. We went straight into turbo. It was a run pass option. There was a cloud out there. We didn't, anticipate having putting Elijah in that situation, albeit I do think, if he had that one back, he could have got out there a little bit more on that corner. But again, you definitely don't want to put guys when there's going to be a serious disadvantage, particularly when they're going to be on some walk linebackers and stuff. Those are ones that, Elijah or any of our receivers, whether it be in San Francisco or not, we put them in those positions if we felt like they could do it, and we didn't have a problem with that one.
Now I'm going to shock you here. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me. It wasn't smart. I'll tell you what I didn't like about the play call. If you have Jamison Crowder lined up wide left, slot guy number one, and you have Moore lined up slot two in the slot, if you're the defense, are you like saying, what's going on over there? What is this? When have we ever seen Crowder lined up all the way wide? Now, if I'm the defense, I'm thinking it's the opposite. That it's going to be a quickie to maybe to Moore, and maybe Crowder's going to block. But where I'm going to forget about that. Where I'm going to defend is, you want to know something? Yeah, Moore is small. There are 165, 175 pound guys that will block. There are running backs that block, that pick up linebackers that are 40, 50, 60 pounds heavier than them. There's no excuse to defend Moore on that play. That was a feeble attempt. He reacted slow, and there was no urgency because he reacted slow to the play. I don't care. I don't care if that was a 400-pound defenseman. He didn't have to have a pancake block on the guy. He just needed to get in his way. And the bottom line is the second guy that was on covering Moore was on his ass and was right behind on the play. We're going to take a look at that play real quick anyway. So I don't know why you have two slot guys. Whatever.
Mike, I don't want to come off in the wrong way in asking it this way, but like you watch some other offenses around the NFL, you watch some of the explosives that they're able to piece together. I mean, there's times even with the offenses that maybe aren't having the week by week successes like you sometimes see the Chiefs of yesteryear or the Ravens or what the Bengals are doing, and things for the offense just look easy. And for you guys, it like watching from afar, it seems like everything is a challenge. And even when you guys do get some big plays, it was Zach running around and broken plays and then throwing it down, you get a penalty or something like that. I mean, why hasn't it been easy yet for you guys? Why hasn't things just haven't really clicked for you throughout a game?
Yeah, no, it's a fair question, and I don't want to make any excuses for anybody. First of all, I think a lot of times those easy plays come once you get some drives going, once you get the defense on their heels a little bit, that's when those big plays do come. I know in Tennessee, yeah, Zach made some off schedule plays, but we also kind of had them on their heels in terms of like the one that the fumbled snap that he had Jameson, he was going to Jameson the whole way. The only reason he missed or he fumbled the snap, he was so excited about getting the ball to Jameson, he forgot to take the snap. And they were so loose at that point that he already knew. He's like, man, this is what it feels like. It's like, exactly. Once you get some drives going, once you loosen some people up, that's my job to figure out how, why we're not getting those drives going early.
That's Connor Hughes again. It's a good question. It's a question Jet fans have been asking for years, right? Doesn't make a difference who the coach is, who the offensive coordinator is. Oh, man, who is the offensive coordinator? He's the last time I remember, the first time I remember, no, not the first time. Oh, man, he was the son, Schottenheimer. I remember thinking to myself, you put on these other teams, even the mediocre teams. I mean, that's what Connor was saying, Yeah, the great teams, but even the teams that are not so good. I mean, you see, it's an offensive league now. You see teams at some point moving the ball a little bit, having a little bit of success. Yeah, they have the kind of games the Jets have. Not every week, And you heard. I cut his answer off. You know why? His answer actually was good when he talked about what happened in Tennessee. It was a feel-good moment for Zach when he. I remember when Zach was interviewed after the game when he fumbled that ball and then hit Crowder. He did say that. Lafleur is telling the truth there. That's completely accurate. Zach said I knew the play would still be there when I picked up the ball. I was so excited. I knew it was wide open. So there's a lot of truth to what Lafleur says there, and you've really got to take his answer there and sort of put that in the safe in the head. Because it's like anything. It's like anything. I was going to bring back a quick experience. Bottom line is we had a football team, and our first game, we got blown out the first week of the season, blown out. And the second week of the season, we played a team that was a lot weaker. And I'd never had been blown out like that before. And all of a sudden we're moving the ball. And I said, wow, this is what it feels like to move the ball at this level. And we were just moving the ball. And it does feel like that once you just can't believe that you're doing this so easily after having so many struggles, and that's what it's going to feel like to Zach. And it's going to happen, Now, whether it happens with Lafleur, well, his answer is a good one there. That's actually true to a certain point, so.
We'll take a couple more for Coach. Hey, Mike, it's Kim Jones. And like Connor said before his second to last question, I really don't want this to come off poorly. I think in person, it's easier to read someone's body language. But I'm just wondering, with the inability to score so far in the first quarter, do you at all have to go out of your comfort zone just to get some darn points on the board by any means necessary? It just seems to me, as someone who, watched yesterday, that might have given a big lift, not only to your offense, but to your defense early in that game.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're every single time we go out there in the first quarter, we're trying to put our guys in a position that they can be successful with what we're asking them to do on top of the defense that we're going against. Right now, we are not getting the execution that we need in the first quarter, and that is absolutely being detrimental to our success right now. Once we get past, and again, I thought we did have some success in this last one. We just didn't finish it. And I thought there was plenty of opportunities in the second drive that it shouldn't even have gotten to that point, but it did. And again, it goes back to how we're saying it, the message.
Okay, I like and respect Kim Jones. That could be one of the most ridiculous questions I think I've ever heard in my entire life. I don't even understand it. And it made sense where she was going with it until she just left it out there, so abstract. What does that mean? Listen, I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone. She never says what the comfort zone is. What comfort zone did you want him to get out of? Run, pass, run. Did you want to try triple reverses? I have no idea what the hell she was talking about. So I cut that one short. No clue.
You have a 4th and 1 play call, which now the NFL has gone to. A lot of guys are going for it on 4th and short. What's the decision making there, versus, hey, we should be able to just run up the middle and get a yard here, or versus trying to do something else, like a throw, like we saw New England throw to the tight end on their 4th down yesterday, or even a quarterback sneak? What's kind of the thought process there, between trying something different, sure, running up the gut and trying to get a yard?
Yeah, no, I think it goes back to two things. It goes back to the defense you're going against and what they're presenting with their fronts, but it also goes back to what you've already put on tape, And I think when you play New England, like when you look at that, particularly from the end zone copy, like I know all you guys will, you'll see how wide a lot of those guys are. And you'd think that, man, we should be able to put this right up the middle for 1 yard. And, we felt like we had the right call on. Again, unfortunately, didn't execute it. And I know it's kind of a broken record now, and I'm sick of saying it. But ultimately, that's what's going on right now. And we got to get that fixed quickly as coaches to make sure we can get the results we want.
Another question. I have no idea what it meant. We did run the ball up the gut on the 2-point conversion, which that was the stupidest play call I've ever seen. I've seen the runs with a real spread out, like 4 or 5 wide, and then you run the ball, with everybody spread out, but never with everybody in the box. It was just crazy. But I don't understand the question. It's like he's saying, why don't you just run the ball right up the middle, 4th and 1? Well, hell, man. Have we seen that too? That hasn't worked. So I don't know.
Is it a lot, like you kind of referenced it here, Mike, is that, you said you keep mentioning execution, like we're just not executing. I mean, this isn't week 2 anymore. This isn't week 3. This isn't about, the first or second week of training camp. I mean, we're, you guys have played your 1 and 5, but there's also the bye week mixed in there. I mean, you still aren't executing. You know what I mean? Like, how alarming is that?
Yeah, it's totally alarming, because again, that's what our record shows right now. I mean, that we're not winning football games. We're not having the success. So again, there's no question. There's nothing that's going to say that's going to make it any better or worse right now. We're as hard on ourselves as anybody out there, and we're working to get this thing fixed. Because again, no one really cares what year you're in, but ultimately that's what's going on right now. We can say, why aren't we getting the easy ones and the explosives compared to some other teams? They will come. All right. I'm very confident they're going to come. I don't know when they're going to come, but when it gets going, I truly believe it'll be a tough offense to stop. We know how to get this thing done. We're just not getting it done right now, and we got to continue to work to get that done.
And that's Connor Hughes again. I'll tell you, he just has, Connor Hughes just has his finger on the pulse of what's going on here. I think he has a finger on the pulse of Lafleur, pretty good. He has a finger on the pulse of the whole team, of the whole coaching staff, and I've got to give him a lot of credit for that. Maybe I'm just giving him a lot of credit because he's pointing out the same exact things I am. So maybe I'm giving him a lot of credit because it makes me feel good about me. Something like that. No, seriously, he's good though. He does a good job. Excuse me. Execute. I went over to the Jet website yesterday, and I put the definition of execution up. I mean, since they've both, Saleh and him, have used the word over 100 times already this week, I wondered if they understood what the definition of the word is, execute. You know? Being given an order or a demand or a job and following through. So again, if I'm the executor and you're the executee, and I tell you, I keep repeating myself here, if you're not following what I'm telling you, it's you're the one making the mistake. It's not the person giving the demand. The person giving the demand, though, wants to take responsibility, claims that they're taking responsibility because they're not executing, meaning it's the way they're explaining it. And basically everything is right with the Jets right now, just so we get on the same page here. You know what? Here we go. Ready? Everything is fine. There is no problem with the play calls. There is no problem with the personnel. There's no problem with anything. The only problem is that I'm telling you to paint it yellow and you're painting it orange. Not red, not white, orange. Okay? That's it. That's it. And I have a whole other video to break down the plays, and this video is going to be way too long. So I'm going to make a separate video, and we're going to break down some of the plays and some of the things that I saw that you guys are going to be blown away with. For instance, did anybody really see how Cashman got hurt? This is a classic. When he talked about the passing protection on the first sack of Zach, run, pass, and that sack, you'll see that this is actually coaching. We're getting mad at Van Roten. We're getting mad at Moses. We're getting mad at these guys, and this is coaching because we just heard what he said earlier. He said it's the hot guy. It wasn't we didn't have him as a hot guy. So it looks on paper when you're looking at this like the players are insane, that there's two players picking up one guy and one guy's coming free. But this is the way they're being told to execute the play. And you're trusting your leadership that they're giving you the right information. And Moses doesn't even look to his right. McGovern is coming back with nobody and looking to the right to see if these guys need help. There's three guys focused on one guy. And I'm going to show you on a play like that how it still could be coaching because he admitted it. And that really, really, really is troubling. How could you presume there's a guy's not going to rush? I don't know. Okay, guys, that's it for this video. I'm going to make another one probably tonight because I've got to do the play one. The play one is just too good, man. It's just way too good. So I've got to do that one. Okay, there'll be another video tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for coming by. I appreciate it.